I feel that this is an inflection point for programmatic in the video television space. And as you know, the display and search space has been very programmatic driven for several years, but the current television-based media company mindset has not really intersected with the internet until now. And because of that intersection today, what we're seeing, and you've seen that with examples by several transactions recently, with Facebook and LiveRail, RTL and Spot Exchange, Comcast and Freewheel, the traditional media companies and even these new media companies like Facebook are trying to understand the implication of programmatic in video. And this is that moment. So programmatic video is really starting to take off today. That's point one. Point two is that programmatic video is not really just RTB. RTB is a great capability, real-time bidding, but the real value in the video set and the majority of it is in a reserved, fixed price volume guarantee basis. So the concept of programmatic that exists in display and search will be different than that in video, and that's what we're seeing today. So I believe that most media companies need to have a fully integrated tech stack to be successful in the future. And the simple reason for that is that technology, data, and media are converging all together. And if you only have one component of it, it'll be very difficult to meet the needs of the marketers and your consumers in the future. So they need to own the whole tech stack. So in the case of Facebook, in the case of Amazon, in the case of Comcast, in the case of Google, you can look at these companies who each have slightly different perspectives on what they're trying to accomplish, but all of them in some respects are developing or are acquiring or building elements of a tech stack and integration. So if you look backwards, everybody was focused in a silo. I'm an ad network, I'm a DSP, I'm an SSP, I'm an exchange, I'm a data provider. What I think you're going to see in the future is some horizontalization, where people cut across those boundaries and actually try to stitch the technology together as opposed to leaving them in silos. And that's where I think the future of this is going. Everyone needs to stitch it together. And what we do, in particular in Videology, is we play with the entire ecosystem in stitching that together. So we're perceived as many things to many people, but our core value proposition is a technology platform that enables the very front to the very back of programmatic video. And that's where we see the future. How do I create an integrated tech stack so that the whole tide can rise for the industry? So we're finding that the agency trading desk is evolving very differently depending on the agency holding company. Some holding companies who have centralized control have a wonderful opportunity to create trading desks. Those whose companies are more dispersed and decentralized, it's harder to create a trading desk operation. I do believe the future of the trading desk is bright for those who have centralized and capabilities. I believe those that are decentralized will find it hard to create a trading desk mandate. So that's one comment. Second comment is it's not just about the trading desk. The individual agencies have the relationship with the client. So you need to work hand in hand between an agency and a trading desk to be successful all the way through. The trading desk really has the expertise in technology and scale across all clients, but the agency is the one who's the true expert at what their initial and individual client wants. You got to pair both to be successful, in my opinion. So trading desk by itself not good enough, agency by itself not good enough, agency plus trading desk is 1 + 1 is greater than 3.
And then Scott, one last question, the convergence, the question of linear planning. It's happening in some spot markets, it's happening in Europe to some degree. Where is this going to go? How might it roll out? Where, if it'll happen, when linear programming from the big broadcasters move into a more programmatic scenario. What are your thoughts about that?
So number one, if I were a broadcaster, I'd be very scared about just doing something right away. And the simple reason is if you look back over history of the intersection of media or convergence, let's say, with the internet, the past several intersections have not been wildly successful for the traditional media company. Said another way, many major media companies who have print operations are not necessarily seeing even close to the same monetization on the display ones. So the key here is, as a media company, and I've already been through several cycles of other media, how do I deal with TV and its convergence? And my belief is that TV is a constrained supply medium, so it needs to be handled differently than, let's say, print, where you could add another page to the magazine and create more inventory. Display, you're forced to show ads in order for the page to render correctly. In TV, you don't have to show an ad. So the intersection and convergence for TV and the internet and how that affects the media company needs to be thought through, because it's going to be very different than what the history of convergence has shown for the display and print operations. And in my opinion, that means taking programmatic and not just embracing the historical aspect of programmatic as RTB, but grabbing programmatic and saying, how do I automate all of my systems so I can provide all of my media, the linear feed, my online video, my video on demand, my IPTV, in one consolidated, consistent approach to my consumers and to the marketer. And for them, that's what programmatic means. How do I stitch together all of these different disparate devices and distribution platforms so that I can be holistically whole to the marketer and the consumer? The single greatest challenge is legacy infrastructure. It's just there. So if we could start afresh and have everything at zero, we'd be much further ahead today. But instead, we've spent billions and billions and billions of dollars creating legacy infrastructure that people are hesitant to just pull out of the ground. And that's what's holding us back from achieving the true nirvana of programmatic convergence in video.